just want to, you were born with a Jupiter. Jupiter's optimism and faith. If you want to know what Jupiter is, it's Jesus, Jesus, okay? Same energy. You want to know what Saturn is? Think about Satan, the devil, the serpent. It's the same thing. That's where the Christians got their Satan from. Where do you think he came from? Saturn. Father Time, the devourer of all of his children. That's Saturn. The devil is a roaring lion who seeketh whom he might devour. That's Scripture. Same thing. Okay? The word devil came from diablos. You know what diablos comes from? Two roots. Di, divide, and abalos, abolish. Divide and conquer, the old military strategy. You want to destroy an enemy, divide them and destroy them. Divide them and conquer. What divides you against yourself? Guilt and accusations. Guilt and self-guilt. It divides you. It makes you sick. Breaks you down. Mentally and physically. Guilt. You understand me? You all making sense? So you want to understand astrology, understand what I'm teaching you, that it's all connected. The mysteries are all connected, and I'll teach them to you. So I get an email from Chantel, and I'm going to talk about you now. You have in your chart, you're born with, you have a affliction between Jupiter and Saturn and your moon. What does that mean? They're square to each other. Jupiter's optimism, faith, and positiveness, and it's just faith in the future. And Saturn is the opposite. It's pessimism. It's looking back, living in the past. If you read my book, you realize Peter in the Bible was symbolic of Saturn. Christ said to him, "Get behind me," to Peter, his own disciple. "Get behind me, Satan." Why do you call him Satan? Okay, because Peter represents what? What does Peter mean? Rock, petrified, make hard. What does Saturn rule? Rocks, crystals, and minerals, right? The hardening of all things. Peter, it also relates to this. What does a man describe himself with here? Peter. Oh, it's just coincidence, right? How about this expression? A vulgar expression for an emission for a sexual thing. I got my rocks. Peter, Saturn, rocks. You see it, huh? Peter, when the cock, excuse me, where'd that come from? Oh, when the cock crows thrice, thou shalt deny me 3 times. These words, don't you see it? Don't you see it? Peter was that. He was denier of the higher self. You know how he was crucified? Upside down. You ever see the goat's head made like that? Goat's head with a 1 point down of the 5-pointed star? Okay? That was Peter. Peter, Capricorn, Saturn, rocks. Oh, there's so much. The goat, Capricorn. Okay. So here's a woman with a Jupiter Saturn. You don't mind me talking about you in class? I'm going to talk about all of you if you let me. I will. We're going to have a lot of fun, but we become like family in this room. And you'll see that. Okay? Some of the best friends came out of these groups. Okay? Okay. Where did you put that? Did I put it in here? Oh, yeah, here you go. Here's what you wrote me. Remember I told you Saturn's afflicting Jupiter. Optimism, pessimism, right? The ups, the downs. That's what life's all about. What'd she write me? Watch this. People do this all the time. They talk about their chart, but they don't know it. They're really talking their chart. Hear what it says. I'm embarrassed. Okay, okay. I had the pleasure of hiring you for one of the most beautiful days of my life, and this same life as it turned on me, I guess what goes up always comes down. Sound like Saturn, Jupiter? Listen to this. Things are made this way. One day you're up, and the next day you're down. Hear what she's talking? She's talking her chart. Okay? A friend of mine always said, be nice on your way up, you'll never know who you'll meet on the way down. That's your chart, girl. You see where I'm coming from? Your faith is vacillating back and forth always between faith, optimism, and pessimism. As soon as things go good, you think it's got to go bad. In your heart, that's what you think. There's something in you that's expecting that. And your expectations are what? Your faith. Think about that. Your expectations are your faith. If I know what you expect, I can tell you what's going to happen to you. Because you're going to bring it about. You say, well, how's that work? Well, you're in a relationship, huh? You wonder why you can't stay in a relationship? Watch this. I mean, you've been together for a while? Honey, do you really love me? Do you really love me? What are you saying? What are you doubting? You're doubting. What have you expressed right there? Guess what happens? The more you say that, guess what happens? The likelihood of a breakup's coming. Because you're planting the seed in that person's mind all the time. You relating to this? Do you love me? Do you love me? The question itself implies doubt. And doubt creates problems. Your faith in something other than good is being expressed, is what I'm telling you. And that pessimism and that doubt and that question. I used to do a lot of hypnosis, and I had a friend I hypnotized. A friend, he was a social, somebody I met, but he couldn't quit smoking, and I hypnotized him and told him he'd never smoke again. Told him it tastes like dirt in his mouth. He wouldn't smoke. Hadn't seen the guy in about 2 years. And he came knocking on my door with his friend, and I said, how you been? Oh, I'm doing great, Ron. What's happening? We start talking. And all the time he's there, I want to ask him one question. Have you had a cigarette? Do you think I asked him? No way. Because I put suggestion in there that he wouldn't, right? If I ask the question, what am I saying?
I wasn't sure about it.
I'm not sure about it, am I? Right? And if I had done that, guess what would have been? It could have undone anything good I did. You got it. You got it. And I waited just about when he was ready to leave. He says, Ron, I got to tell you, I haven't had a cigarette since that day. Yeah. I'm glad he told me because I'd never ask. I'm never going to ask you if you love me, you know. You got it, guys? Are you getting it? Okay. Okay. This is the most important part of this, okay? You know, you want to learn psychology, learn the way the mind works, you know. You study psychology, I'll tell you. Some of the greatest psychologists, Carl Jung, he's the astrologer, okay? They were all great people. Did you know Einstein was interested in astrology? Huh? Did you? Oh, the great minds, huh? Albert Einstein, astrology is a science in itself, and it contains an illuminating body of knowledge. It taught me many things, and I am greatly indebted to it. The great Einstein, how's that, huh? Here's Gustav Jung, Swiss psychiatrist. You want to read this later, okay? I could go on and on with people here. Ralph Waldo Emerson said in defense of astrology, to accept Edward Haley, I have studied the matter, you have not. Here, if you didn't you got this last week, it's all right, take another one if you want. Read these. These are great minds, great minds. You're amongst some of the greatest minds in the world right here. Okay? Okay. You have it, okay, good. All right. Okay. By the way, I wrote up some rules up here for y'all. I hate rules, but we have them. Okay. You know, we say leave the toilet lid up because our cats use it. They do. And if you put it down, they're going to be confused. Okay. They do their whole thing on there, so. You were there when they did it, right? They'll do it all the time as a room. Okay, if you're hungry or thirsty, get up and get food. Don't worry. Don't be polite, please. We live here, your family here, okay? We're going to have food on the other side of this wall here to be stretched out. A lot of snacks and things. And later we're going to have pizza, so it's all cheese in case you're vegetarian. Anyway, okay, try to be on time. The better to be early than late. I prefer that, okay? Because isn't somebody missing today? Your friend, somebody's missing, no? No, I guess not. Okay, you're all here. Okay, okay. There's no such thing as a stupid question? I mean that. Ramona Watson is missing. My namesake, Watson. She's not here. Huh? Oh, who's missing? Nobody's missing. Ramona, okay, you're Ramona. I'm sorry. I'm going to get it. It'll take me a while, but I'll get it all here. All right, good. Huh? Okay. Karen was here the first. Yeah, you all signed up together. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm sorry about that. Okay. No such thing as a stupid question. See, I just asked stupid questions, see? Okay. Okay, there are 9 chapters in your chart interpretation handbook, which I'm going to give you all now. And these chapters, I want you to read during the week. I'd like you to read 2 chapters a week. Okay? Okay, 2 chapters a week. Okay, you have one of these from before, right?
I got it right here, yeah, thank you.
Good, okay. And if you read 2 chapters a week, that's 5 weeks, you'll have the book read. There's only 9 chapters in the book. All right? I want you to get disciplined about this. You know? Really do it. Don't get after it. You know? I spent 9 years in the prison studying it. It kept me entertained for 9 years. I probably would have went berserk crazy if I hadn't had them. Okay? The other side of it is, you'll never be bored with astrology. You know why? You're going to always have new people you can do their charts. You can be laid up, and I have been laid up in a hospital bed, and I'm the most popular guy in there because why? All the nurses want me to do their chart. Yeah. Okay. My wife came to me through astrology. Actually, my ex-wife did too. Okay. Why? Because they came to study, to learn, and we became more than friends. She came to a seminar in San Francisco, walked in and knocked me over. What a beautiful woman. And I was so blessed, you know. I am blessed every day. I'm so blessed. So, you know, what I'm saying is it'll open up a lot of opportunities for you beyond the thrill of learning and understanding and self-knowledge and understanding other people. It'll help you stay out of relationships you shouldn't be in, quite frankly. Yeah, you know, if you look at a chart ahead of time, you'll see where potential problems could be. Doesn't mean you couldn't overcome those, but you need to know. You also know if you meet a guy, you'll know to be able to, because we have all ladies in here, you'll have to be aware there are certain charts that you want to be a little cautious about, quite frankly, okay? I had a student in one of my classes who had met a guy. She came in and she was so lit up and so excited because she'd met this guy, and I could see it on her face. She was in love, boy, I'll tell you. You can't hide it. You walk in, you know, something's going on there. And I asked her, she said, yeah, I met this guy. He said, he's so great and all this. And I said, why don't you get his birth chart and we'll do his chart. Well, I'd already been showing them how to watch out for certain kind of people in certain charts and guys and things that you need to watch out for because they can be in trouble if you're not paying attention to it. So we were sitting in class, and the phone rang, and she politely walked outside to take the phone call. She came in all excited. I got his birth time. We did the chart. We put it up here, and there's those aspects I just got through showing them to be careful with. Within 3 days, she was 3 or 4 days, maybe by the next week, she was out of that relationship and scared of this guy. He was like a stalker. The thing is that, you know, you need to understand the aspects and what they are and what they are trying to tell you. The scripture says the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. The original was the planets declare the glory of God. And the firmament was the heavens showeth his handiwork. And night unto night showeth knowledge. And day unto day uttereth speech. This is Old Testament. Okay? Day unto day uttereth speech. And there's no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Astrology is universal. It's the same symbols everywhere in the world. And in keeping them is their great reward. Keeping what? Their position. Knowing where they're at. And by them is thy servant warned. Amazing. That's in their Christian Bible, right? You're warned. You're cautioned. You know? My daughter, how old is Larissa? 36, 30, 38 maybe? Beautiful girl. Never been married. Miss Orange County. She was gorgeous. She's always gorgeous. She's beautiful. Inside and out. And she's learned to call me when she's in a relationship and look at the charts because she's had some bad experiences by not listening. And I don't tell her, I never tell anybody don't do this, don't do that. You have to make those judgments. I'll just tell you what I see. You know, I don't want to ruin a relationship. I'm surely not going to set, I'm very cautious, and you're going to be cautious too when you're advising people about relationships. I have a friend, and not a friend, and I know of an associate when I was living in California who got sued for alienation of affection. Because she told a woman that this guy wasn't the best relationship for her. He found out and he sued her. So you got to be wise. Be as wise as a serpent, but don't be a serpent. You know what I mean? I want to teach you those things. You got to be aware of that. And by God, be careful. You know, you got to, you know, you can see things, but be careful how you say it. You have to be subtle and you have to be careful. You have to be watchful over yourself. Protect yourself. Don't be stupid out there. Go out there. You know, people want to say, can you tell me when I'm going to die? Says, if I could, I wouldn't. You know what I mean? If I could, I wouldn't. You know, who would want to know that, huh? You know? But I mean, I can see when things happen in my own life. I see when I should have looked and been aware. I'm looking at everybody else's chart. Anyway, enough of all this. So, okay, did we get through? You're going to read the 9 chapters. You're going to write, underline, and mark your books. Why do I tell you to do that? Because a lot of you have been brought up that don't mark your books. You know, you're going to sell them later, maybe, or you're going to, if they're school books, right? Look at it. Make them yours. Make them personal. Scribble in them. Underline them. Highlight them. And if you don't know the symbols, do you know how to? Do you know all the symbols for Venus, Mars, Jupiter? You know how to write them?
No, not right. I can recognize them.
Okay, good. Here's what I want you to do, though. The mind is very lazy. So if you force yourself to, every time you read in the book, or in any of the things I give you, you see the word Mars, you make the symbol above it. You see the word Aries, make the symbol above it. If you have to look it up, that's good. But like I say, the mind's lazy. If you have to keep looking it up, you're going to say, I might as well learn this thing. And before you know, you do 2 or 3 chapters of marking those up, you'll know all your symbols real quick. So use your book that way. It'll help you learn them, okay? Same with aspects, you know? You know, obviously a square is a square, okay? But each aspect has a certain language, okay? So an opposition is just that. It's an opposite. It's 2 points with a line between them, 180 degrees. A semi-square, another stress aspect is this. Whoops. 45 degrees, okay? Semi-square. So I want you to learn those. You learn them best by doing what I told you. Write them above them anytime you see them. Okay, so a trine is obviously a trine. 120 degree aspect between planets. If you have 3 of those in those places, it's called a grand trine. If you have 4 planets like this, it's called a grand cross. 4 planets all lined up and crucifying you. I was born with that. A grand cross. But I also have a grand trine coming off my Jupiter. And a grand cross coming off my Jupiter. So it's all there. The message is there, you know. So, you know, you'll learn to understand this. Also, I want you to understand something at the very beginning of this course, and that is the difference between houses and signs. A lot of astrologers, students, have a hard time with that whole concept. The houses never change, okay? I'm going to take this out. Oh, let me finish this and I'll come back to that, okay? Sip each day. Read something spiritual, whatever that is for you, whatever your faith is. Read something inspirational if you can. And then spend some time on your profession, which is astrology. Study to be worthy, okay? Learn as much as you can, okay? So sip each day. Sip each day. All right, let's move on here. I'll show you a few things that I really want you to get at the beginning, because if you get it quick, it'll make it easier for you. Okay. All right. That's all right. All right. Okay. All right. In astrology, there's 12 houses, okay? 360 degrees around that circle. Each sign is made of 12 degrees. Each house is made of 30 degrees, excuse me. So it's 30 degrees per house. If you multiply 12 times 30, you get 360. That's how much is in a circle. Your first house is right here. The second house is here. Third is here. Fourth is here. Fifth here. Sixth, all the way around. And what you need to know is these don't ever change. Okay? What changes is the position of the planets in those houses and the signs. They change all the time. Sometimes it's a little difficult for students when they come in. They kind of get this all confused. This is called your ascendant. It's where the sun rises in the east. If you're born at 6 a.m., roughly 6 a.m., the sun's going to be right around here, rising in the east. If you were born at 12 o'clock at noon, roughly it'd be up here. And if you're 6 p.m., it would be over here. If it's 12 midnight, it's going to be down here somewhere. Now, that's a quick way to check a chart's accuracy. Because if you're doing a chart for somebody and you have a chart and you know they're born at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you know the sun's got to be between here and here. So you look at that chart. If it was over here, guess what? It means you made a 12-hour mistake on that chart. Instead of putting AM, you put PM. Or PM and you put AM, whatever. So it's always a quick look at a chart. You can kind of get a view of it if it's correct or not. The sun will tell you that, okay? Make sense? Okay, so this is called the ascendant, this is called the descendant, this is called the midheaven, okay? Medium coli, MC, it's Latin. And then this is the nadir, okay? IC, anyway. We don't need to know all that. But right now I want you to understand that these are angles. The angles make planets more powerful. If you have planets in the midheaven, up above you, they're strong. If you have planets up here, in other words, let's say, okay? Let's say you have, let's say you had Jupiter up here. And, oh, I got a better idea. I got something. Okay. Oh, gosh. I just hurt my leg and my, thanks, man. Is it still working? I guess it is, yeah. Okay.